Welcome to all of you in today's lecture on the topic Understanding of Physiology of Respiration in Ayurveda. So, what is respiration? Basically, a respiration is the process of obtaining oxygen from the environment to inside of the body. Then it gets transported into the body up to the tissues. Over there, oxygen is utilized for the purpose of release of energy. So, in Ayurveda, the act of breathing, that is inspiration, nihswas, and expiration, uchwas, it has been considered as a vital sign of life, and it is also described as a characteristics of Atma, prana apano nimeshadya jivanam manasogati. And the if we look over the act of breathing, so it is the function of pranavat and udanavat, and this function is related to the pranavaya shrotas. What is pranavaya shrotas? Basically, pranavaya shrotas is a channel or path through which the external air, that is pranavayu, it enters into the body to sustain the life. So, if we grossly look whether there is description of respiratory system in Ayurveda, or the various steps and mechanisms which have been described under the mechanism of respiration. So there is no clear-cut description regarding the respiratory system as a whole. Rather, there are various references in different places in the Ayurveda text under the description of like Vata dosh, pathophysiology of pranavaya shrotas, kosthang, dhamni, marma, and there are other so many references also which suggest that there is a description of basically the clinical physiology of respiratory system in Ayurveda. First of all, we will look whether what is the description related to the anatomy of the respiratory system. So the respiratory system has upper respiratory tract and lower respiratory tract, the whole passage of the air from nostril up to the alveoli. So from nose to pharynx, it is nose. So there is description of nasika and nasa chhidra, oral cavity, that is mukhvivar, kanth, throat, grasanika, pharynx, swarayantra, larynx. So all these terminologies have been described under the various places in Ayurveda. And if we summarize that, so we could get that there is the description of upper respiratory tract. And next is the lower respiratory tract from pharynx up to the lungs. So the first structure is the trachea. It is named as Klomnadi. Next is the apastamba. So apastamba is basically description under the marma, and over there is a verse Ubhayatra Uraso Nadyo Vatavahe Apastambho Nama. Means in the Urah Pradesh, means in thoracic region, there are two nadis, means ducts, which are related to the transport of vat, means air. So these two nadis could be understood as bronchi because they are two in numbers. Then next is the lung. Lung is the major respiratory organ, and it is called as fuffus. And the description of fuffus is under the category of kosthang. But there is no direct description of the fuffus that it is related to the respiration or it is a respiratory organ. Its location has been also described in relation to the heart. Tatra vame fuffusa pliho dakshine yakritam udanavayu adhara fuffusa prochete buddhi. Means the fuffus, it is located on left side of the heart along with the pliha, and it is called as udanavayu adhara. Here udanavayu means the expiratory air, and it is the reservoir of air, we can say, when we inhale the air, So there is all the little amount of air it is retained called as residual volume. Always there is a certain volume of air inside the lung. So mean it is the place for retaining the air. So that's why it is called as Udan Vayu Adhara, or it is called as the base for the expiratory air. Next, this is the aniline, the bronchial tree branching as well as alveoli. So the description of anil iron is found under the Mukharoga disease, Swaragna. Over there, the term aniline has been used, and the aniline is called as it is the place for Vayu Marga. So it could be understood as the bronchial tree branching as well as the alveoli. The whole respiratory tract functionally it has been described on the two parts, conducting zone and respiratory zone. In conducting zone is also known as anatomical dead space. It is only the resid conduit or the passage through which the air passes into the lungs, but there is no gaseous section. So from nose, nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea up to the two bronchi, it is, or up to upper stamba, it is the conducting zone. Then the respiratory zone. So we could consider that respiratory zone as an anil iron. The description of alveoli, we could understood that from that. So it is the site of gaseous exchange, and the parts are respiratory bronchiole, alveolar duct, and alveolar sac, alveoli. Now, respiratory mechanism. So Acharya Sharangadhar has very well explained all the important steps of respiratory system, and we could understood systematically. So the verse for this is Nabhistha Pranapavana Sprishtva Hit Kamlantaram Kanthat Bahir Viniryati Patum Vishopadamritam Pitva Cha Ambar Piyusham Punarayati Vedatah Pridayanna Deham Akhilam Jivam Cha Chathara Nalam Sarire Pranayorev Shayogat Ayu Uchyate. In this verse, in the first line, Acharya Sharangadhar describes that the heart, it is the seat of consciousness and oj, and there are arteries which are related to the navi and which is spread all over the body and constantly supply air to the whole tissue of the body. So and after that there is a description Nabhistah Pranapavana Sprishtva Hit Kamlantar, means the air. Pranapavan means the air or the fresh air or the oxygen. It enters into the body up to the Nabhistha, means up to the umbilicus. Then it Sprishtva, it touches to the Hrit Kamalantaram. Hrit Kamalantaram could be understood as a heart-lung complex. The inspired air that goes into the lung, and it touches to the lung and heart, means it goes into the lungs and then into the heart, and from heart it goes into the all over the body in general circulation. So then after entering into the lungs, that air reaches up to the Nabhistha, means here Nabhistha we can understood as a movement of diaphragm. When we inhale the air, there is a movement of diaphragm, and that movement in a quiet respiration, the diaphragm becomes flattened and reaches up to the umbilicus, and if it is the forceful inspiration, then it goes down from the level of umbilicus. So this Nabhistha could be understood as the movement of diaphragm. Similarly, this Nabhistha could be also understood as the respiratory mechanism into the during the fetal life. We know that in fetal life, the fetus takes its oxygen or the pranapavan through its umbilicus. So, and that umbilicus is connected with the placenta of the mother. So the baby, the fetus gets its oxygen from the mother through the umbilical cord. So this also refers to the fetal circulation or the intake of oxygen into the body through the navi. Next line is Kanthat Bahir Viniryati Patum Vishwa Padamritam. So the air which is inhaled, it again comes out from the body to the external environment through the kant. Kant Bahir Vinir. Bahir means external. Viniryati means comes out. And Kanthat means throat. Patum Vishwa Padamritam. Patum means to further to again get oxygen. The Pitvacha Ambar Piyusham Punarayati Bekta. After the intake of oxygen, the Ambar, here the word Ambar Piyush refers to the oxygen, and the Vishwa Padamrit, it also refers to the oxygen. Again, the air comes inside. Puna means again. Ayati comes inside. Vegata, with the speed. So the air which is exhaled through the throat, it is impure air. It gets mixes with the environment, external environment, and the again the air becomes more saturated with the oxygen, and that fresh air again comes into the lungs with the speed. Here this refers to the continuous cyclic process of inspiration and expiration. In the first line he says that air comes into the up to the nabi, then it comes out of the body through the kantha, and again the air, when the air becomes fresh after mixing into the external environment, that refers to the Patum Vishwa Padamritam. Again it comes inside the body. Means in a one cycle there is phase of inspiration, expiration, again the next cycle starts, that is inspiration. Pridayan Deham Akhilam Jivan Chandra. So the Prana Pavan or Vishwa Padamrit or the Ambar Piyush, whatever, these are the terms which have been used for to refer the oxygen. So what effects that Prana Pavan produces in the body? So in this line he mentions that Pridayanna Deham Akhilam. Pridayan means nourishment. Deham means the body. Akhilam means whole. So it provides nutrition to the whole body. Jivayan cha Jetharadanam. It provides life to the body, or it is very essential component for the sustenance of life. Jetharanalam, it augments to the Jetharagni, means it augments the process of digestion and metabolism. Sarira pranayoh eva sanyogat ayu uchyate. So this pran, here again oxygen. So the combination of this body oxygen or the air with the body is called as ayu. Means the life is sustained only up to the period when there is combination of this body with the air. So we know the importance of oxygen, physiological importance of oxygen towards the body, that if our brain do not get oxygen for a few seconds, so the person may die. So that's why it is called as Sharir Pran Sanyog is called as Ayu. And how we can understand that it augments the Agni. So we know all the processes in the body, they are basically aerobic respiration at the level of cell. And if there is lack of oxygen, so that causes anaerobic respiration, and in the anaerobic respiration there is very less amount of release of energy. So that's why we can get that importance of oxygen or pranavayu for the tissue respiration and tissue nourishment. So the four major steps of external respiration we can understand. That is, first one is the ventilation, pulmonary diffusion and transport of gases. Then tissue respiration. So now let us see how we can understand these 4 steps in detail. First one is the ventilatory mechanism, external respiration. So नाभिस्थः प्राणपवनः स्पृष्ट्वा हितकमलान्तरं कंठात् बहिर्विनिर्याति पातुं विश्वपदामृतम्. As just now I discussed that here the word Nabhi refers to the umbilicus. In relation to the ventilatory mechanism, it could be understood as the participation of diaphragm and abdominal muscles in the process of ventilation. So here in this picture you can see the position of diaphragm in breathing out position and breathe in position. In breathing out position, it is its curve is toward the thoracic cavity, and in breathe in it becomes flattened. So then Nabhistha Pranapavana could be also understood for the supply of nutrients and oxygen from maternal circulation to the fetus through the umbilical cord in the intrauterine life. And the Kanchat Bhairaviniryati, it shows the direction of movement of air. From abdomen, the direction of expiration from abdomen is in upward direction through the chest and throat. Now the inspiratory mechanism and expiratory mechanism, how it gets initiated and how it is regulated. So if we look the function of pranavata, prano atra murdaga urah kanticharo buddhi hridaya indriya chitradhik stevanam chamatu udgara nishwas anna praveshkrit. Means the site of pranavata is murdha, that is sir or head region, and it has functional regulation over the buddhi, that is intelligence, hridaya, brain, indriya, all the sensory and motor organs, and the man, chitta means the man or mind. Stevanam chavatu udgara nishwas anna praveshkrit. Stevanam spitting, chavatu sneezing, udgar belching, nihiswas inspiration, and anna praveshkrit. Anna praveshkrit means deglutition. So basically the pranavat, it is situated in the brain and it is responsible for initiation of inspiration, process of inspiration. Similarly, expiration, it is the function of udanavat. Udano nam yast urdhvam upati pavanottama ten bhashit geet adi vishesho abhipravartate. Further, Dallad has clarified this bhashit geet adi. Bhashit geet adir iti ati sabd uchvasa adi. Means this is responsible for expiration. And Sarangadhara is also called as fuffus as a udana vayu adhara fuffusa prochite buddha. Here also the udana vayu refers to the expiratory air. So the pranavat and udanavat, they are related with the initiation of a process of inspiratory mechanism and expiratory mechanism and its regulation. So in this picture here we can understand this is the brain, which is the site in the brain, it is the pons and medulla, and it is the site of pranavat, and we know all the centers, inspiratory and expiratory centers and pneumotaxic center, all are situated in the pons and medulla. So this pranavat is responsible for initiation of nihiswas, that is inspiration, and there are the group of neurons which are going to give the feedback to the muscles of inspiration and expiration. Now gaseous exchange, how we can understand the mechanism of gaseous exchange. So as in the verse by Sharangdar, it was the word Nabhistha Pranapavana Sprishtva Hit Kamlantaram. So this word Sprishtva Hit Kamlantaram basically indicates to the gaseous exchange at the level of alveoli, or the movement of air from lung up to the heart. So this Hit Kamlantar word could be synonymous for heart-lung complex. And Shrikant Datta has given a commentary on the verse given by Madhav Nidan. Fuffusa iti hridayastha हृदयस्य वाम पार्श्वे रक्त आधारा फुफ्फुस इति ख्याता. The lung is the organ which is present on left side of the heart, and it is said to be Rakta Adhara, means it is the reservoir for blood also. So we know in case of emergency, the lung can pour almost it can accommodate the extra amount of blood. Approximately 500 ml extra amount blood can be accommodated into the lung, and in case of hemolysis or in case of low blood volume, this much amount from the lungs can be poured into the general circulation. So these two references, the Rakta Adhar means it is a highly vascular organ, and the Prana Pavana, it touches to the lungs, and from there it goes into the heart, and from there it comes into the general circulation. So we could understood by this the gaseous exchange at the level of alveoli, and passing of movement of fresh air from lung into the heart via the blood. Now about the transport of gases. So the transport of gases we can understand. The third step is transport of gases of the respiratory mechanism. So there are references. The Manyoras Vahibhyo Dhamanti Pavano Tara, means the dhamni vessels which carry ras, they also carry the pavanam air, means they are filled with air also. The vessels which are carrying the ras, they are filled with the air also. So this refers to the oxygenated blood. Yunakti praninam prana shoditam hi anuvartate, means the prana means here refers to the again oxygen. It is it moves in the body in connection with the rakta, shoditam rakta. So this the life of a praninam means the living being. So the life of a living being, it is because of the combination of this prana, means the oxygen with the blood, means it refers to the transport of oxygen through the blood. Next reference is Siradhamanyo Nabhistha Sarva Vyapya Sthitas Pushranti cha Anisham Vayo Sanyogata Sarva Dhatubhi, means the Sira, the Dhamanyo, Nabhistha. Sira, the vein, Dhamni, arteries, they are related with the Nabhi. Sarva Vyapya Sthitas Tanu, and they are present all over the body. Tanum means the human body. Sthita means present. Vyapya means their expansion. So the veins and arteries which are related to the Nabhi, they get spread all over the body. And Pushranti cha Anisham Vayoh Sanyogata Sarva Dhatubhi, and they provide nourishment to the whole body along with the Vayu. With the Vayu, Sanyogata Sarva Dhatubhi, to the all the cells of all the tissues. So this reference again refers to the movement of oxygen. Vayu means again here the gases. So it refers to the transport of gases along with the blood through the blood vessels, and it gives nourishment to the whole body. Sarira pranayoreyo sanyogat ayuruchyate, the body and the oxygen, its combination, it gives the life, and that is called as ayu. So these are the few references which suggest the transport of gases in the body and supply through the blood circulation and supply of oxygen to the tissues. And next description is, so this was about the whole respiratory mechanism, that is the process of ventilation, process of expiration and inspiration, Then there is gaseous exchange at the level of alveoli, then transport of gases, and ultimately about the internal respiration. That is the word Pushnati cha anisam vayoh sanyogat sarvadhatu. Next is the sneezing reflex. So udana pranayor ऊर्ध्व योगात मौलिक कफश्रवात शब्दः संजायते नस्तः chutam tat kathyate budhai. Chut means the sneezing, so or sound. Basically, here that when the udan vayu and prana vayu, they get occluded by the kapha dosh in the head region, then there is production of then a sound is produced in the nose, and that is called as chut. So this refers to the sneezing reflex, and it could be understood as the sneezing reflex for clearance of upper respiratory tract, that is the nose and head. Means the in the if there is secretion in the nasal cavity, so that secretion could be understood as the kapha, and that causes the obstruction of movement of pranavat and udanavat, and to clear this kapha there is a sneezing reflex. So in the sneezing reflex here, this is the picture of a sneezing reflex arc, and we can see here the receptors present in the nose, in the nasal mucosa, the olfactory receptors and the other receptors. Then it through the sensory neuron, that is trigeminal and olfactory nerve, it reaches into the medulla. Its center is medulla, brainstem, and into the medulla. In brainstem, it is the medulla, which is the center of sneezing reflex, and through the motor neuron, that is trigeminal nerve and vagus nerve, the effector muscles, they get a command, that is the pharynx, trachea, and respiratory muscles, and then there is a sneezing reflex. There is also a description of measures to establish breathing, that in the under the description of prana pratyagamanam. Prana means breath, pratyagaman means establishment. So this is the verse given by Acharya Charak in Sharir Sthan to establish the breathing in a newborn baby. तस्य अस्तु खल्वपरायाः प्रपतनार्थे कर्मणि क्रियमाणे जातस्य एव कुमारस्य कार्याणि एतानि कर्माणि भवन्ति. Means अपरा, the placenta, after the prapatanam means the separation. Here after the separation from the placenta, jatasya means the newborn baby, kumar jatasya eva kumarasya, the kumarasya the newborn baby. So the measures which should be adopted to establish the breathing in a newborn baby after the separation from the placenta, these are the ashmagno sanghatanam karnayo mule. Ashmagna means the stones. Sanghatanam means to make sound by the two stones. And karnayo mule. So sound should be produced in the ear of the baby by stone. Means sound stimulus to be given. Sheet usha udakena va mukha parisheka. Sprinkling of hot and cold water over the face of the baby to give the stimulus through the temperature receptors. Tatha sa klesha vihatani pranana punara labhate. Means the baby which is fatigued due to the labor pain gets the breathing is re-established, and if not, if then Krishna Kapalika Supena Chainam Abhinipuniya Uda Chesta Shyata Yavat Prananam Prana Pratyagamanam. Then after the baby should be fanned with the Krishna means black color. So if the baby should be fanned with the fan made of a strap of bamboo. So these are the three steps, means to give the sound stimulus through the stones, then sprinkling of water over the face, and then uh, uh, giving air by the fan. So these are the three measures which have been described to establish the breathing of a newborn baby. So this is all about the description related to the respiratory system and the clinical physiology of the respiratory system in Ayurveda. So there is a clear-cut description or understanding of the ventilatory mechanism, that is the process of inspiration and expiration. It is being regulated and initiated by the Pranavata and Udanavata, and the center is situated in the medulla. Because the play site of the Pranavata is Murdha. Then there is description of the gaseous exchange mechanism, then transport of gases, and the tissue respiration. And the few clinical conditions have been also described under the description of Pranavaya Shrotas Dusti. If there is the vitiation of Pranavaya Shrotas, so we get the difficulty in breathing. That there may be difficult breathing, dyspnea. It may be related with the pain or without pain. The breathing rate and depth of breathing and rate is altered. So if there is difficulty in the breathing, there is change in the rate and rhythm of the breathing, so we can infer that there is the involvement of Pranavaya Shrotas. And this Pranavaya Shrotas, it carries the Pranavayu, that's why it is called as Pranavaya Shrotas. And this it is responsible, it is described under the category of Sthulvaya Shrotas. And this Pranavaya Shrotas is important in the body because it takes external air, means the one of the important nutrient, that is oxygen, from the external environment inside of the body. And then there is description of whole respiratory tract also. If we gather all the references at various places, so then we can say yes, there is a description of respiratory system physiology, especially the clinical physiology. So thank you all.